Hello. Hello. Want to hear a secret? You are a great cook, or you can be. We're going to be going over a few things on how to make some simple recipes that you can make for your family, for your friends, and to be honest with you, it's just one of those things that we can all learn from each other. So I'm just starting out with this whole thing. So if you want to take a ride with me, let's do this. But you can cook. You may have heard sometimes in your past that something didn't taste quite as good, or you thought it didn't taste quite as good. It's okay. We're going to practice. We're going to learn together. And if you got some time, I'm going to start off today with a simple recipe that you can get pretty much anywhere. There's a local place here called HEB. Get you one of these. This is actually Carne Guisada. And Carne Guisada is a staple in our family for one, but it's a good go-to depending on how you like it. So very few ingredients for this stuff. This one's already pre-packaged. It's got some seasoning in it. We'll get some extra seasoning. Use a little thing called cornstarch to kind of thicken up some gravy, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so for the first thing you want to do is have your ingredients ready. Have everything you're going to use, because I know from experience, I've started one thing and then next thing you know, I'm running back and forth to the pantry or getting seasoning. So I try now to kind of have everything in place. So with this, all we're really going to need is, again, our meat, a little bit of oil, our pan's already set up, and that's pretty much it to get going, to get started. So you start taking apart your package. This will feed about 3 adults, 4 people if you use kids. We have 2 little girls, so that's pretty much enough food for us. Actually, we'll have plenty of leftovers even for us 4. And I use a little tip called clean hand, dirty hand. By the way, I washed my hands a second ago. I think in the first part of the video, I actually had my napkin, my trusty napkin here, in here. But clean hand, dirty hand, clean hand, dirty hand. All right. So whenever I'm opening things up or touching meats, things like that, in between hand washings, I try and use a guy. So if I'm grabbing a door handle, or if I'm grabbing the sink, or I'm sorry, if I'm grabbing the handle for the faucet, try and use my clean hand not to cross-contaminate a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we've got the pan going. As the pan starts to heat up, I use a little water test. So just grab a little bit of, get your hand wet, throw it on there, and if it sizzles, you got a good, nice hot pan. At that point, I add a little bit of oil. When you add your oil, let that sit for about, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 seconds, and then it'll start to heat your oil up. Last thing I'm gonna do is put that oil on there, let it sit for like a couple minutes, and then try and put your meat on there, because you're gonna get a lot of sizzle. And everybody's stoves are different. If you got gas, you've got electric. I use medium high heat on this guy, but I've also used medium on a gas stove, so it's up to you. Main thing is knowing how hot your pan is, or if it's too hot. So if you throw it on there and it sizzles and evaporates, turn that heat down just a little. All right, when you add your oil, same thing. Just add a little bit of oil to coat the bottom. You'll hear tablespoons, you'll hear teaspoons. Hey, measuring is great. I'm a firm believer that it works for a lot of people. Me personally, I just kind of, you're gonna get used to this, where you're gonna say, oh, that's a tablespoon, that's a teaspoon. Main thing is just coat the pan. You're gonna put a nice little coating on the bottom of the pan to ensure that it's gonna get a good coverage and that meat doesn't stick. Last thing you want is your meat sticking to the pan, because then it starts to burn and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'll come over here. These guys are open. All right, so here we are at the pan. First thing we're gonna do, medium high heat. All right, so what that does is that gets the pan nice and warm. We get our oil, and we'll just let that heat up to about to the point where if you throw some water on. Talk about that here in a second. Okay, our pan's just about heated up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and coat that thing with oil. The thing all around there. If you put a little too much oil, it'll be all right. You'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. Okay. This guy started up. Let's make some magic. So, always have a good spoon. If you're using Teflon, I try not to use too much metal on Teflon or non-stick. It'll tend to really do a number on your pan. You're not going to really loosen that stuff up. So what we're doing here is called browning the meat. You hear that all the time. Browning the meat, browning the meat. What does browning the meat mean? Well, it means just like this. You're going to heat it up before it turns brown. Now, the mistake a lot of people do is they jack with this once they put it in here. All I'm doing is breaking it up. Okay? You break up the meat a little bit, just so that way it's got a good even amount of meat in the pan. So you want it all clumped up in one spot on one side. A lot of stoves have basically a hot area of your stove and then a cold area of your stove, or a cooler area of the pan. I personally like these pans, which I got are trusty HEB, because it really dissipates the heat evenly throughout the pan. I don't have a hot spot in the middle. It's pretty solid temperature on all sides. All right, once I got it about evened out, you just let it sit down. Always have somewhere to store your spoon, whatever you're using to mix your stuff in. So as we're browning this, turn up the heat just a little bit. I want to get that nice color, nice texture. So what we're doing here is it's going to brown. It's going to coat up, and you see how it's kind of liquidy in here. All the water and the juices are basically cooking off of the meat right now, or I don't know the technical term for it. It's just basically losing its moisture. Well, as it starts to cook, that moisture is going to suck back into that meat. And when you do that, at that point, that's when we're going to start adding our other ingredients, like our water. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Again, you want to let this simmer for about 20 to 45 minutes. Everybody has their own thing. I personally like to go with the 40-minute rule. It just makes it a little bit easier for us. And I like the texture of it. But again, some people like their carne guisada a little bit softer. Some people like it a little bit harder. But right off the bat, if you let it simmer for about 30 minutes, you'll be golden. You'll be good to go. So these are the last two ingredients you're really going to be using. Now, you can cut up some onions. You can cut up some peppers. You throw in some diced tomatoes inside the carne guisada. Again, everybody has their preferences. Us personally, we've been good with just the way it comes right out of the package. There's not a whole lot extra we got to work on. Okay, so everything goes on to your personal preference. If you want it just to taste good, 2 teaspoons of this, 1 teaspoon of this. And we'll measure that out here in a second. Okay, so while that's cooking, you can start working on a few other things. Most carne guisada plates you want to use rice or beans or some sides, and you can cheat or you can do it the hard way. And I just say that because there's several ways that you can make your sides. If you're like me and you got a family of 4 and everybody's on a rush, gonna cheat a little bit. But if you got the time, make you a side of rice, make you a side of beans. I'll give you a couple of little hints that we use. All right, so I'm probably gonna get some hate mail for this one, but some Uncle Ben's Spanish rice and some Southwestern refried beans. Both of these can be found at your local HEB, and I'll be honest with you, we've had lots of other types of beans and instants and homemade. This is a pretty good one. These are pretty good. And again, the Uncle Ben's, you can hate on it all you want. In a pinch, again, you're cooking for a family, and sometimes you're in a rush. You want to get something going. These work just fine. All right. Small saucepan. 1.5 quart pan, 2 1/4 cups water, all right, so for this guy, about 2 1/4 cups of water. Get that boiling, and then just drop these bad boys right in. For this guy, microwave. Pop this open a couple inches, I think 90 seconds, and you're rocking and rolling. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. It's good. You'll thank me later. Trust me on this one. All right, so this guy is just about to start boiling. I'm gonna check the meat. It looks like that could use a little bit more water, to be honest with you. And I'm sure in some circles this is a big no-no, but we're all friends here, so. What we're gonna do here, open the package. For some reason they put this in a resealable bag. They put it in a resealable bag like you're gonna use half of it. Right? First thing we're gonna do is turn that down to low. We don't need it that hot. Pour it all in. We're gonna give it a little stir to make sure that nothing's sticking to the bottom. Okay, we're about ready to add our cornstarch and our carne guisada seasoning. Okay, so you don't need a whole lot. A whole lot of it, a little goes a long way when it comes to cornstarch and the seasoning. All right, if you can see that or not, not quite. It's about 3/4 of the cup. Trust me on that, I guess. I'll tell you. If you read the directions, it says add about 5 tablespoons. You can, but since that thing's already seasoned up, 2 of these guys. Not much less, so just do a little extra there. Get a new spoon for your cornstarch. Not necessarily heaping, but it's, if you can see here, it's not quite to the sides. So 1, 2. Again, they're not necessarily heaping, they're just I don't know how you say it. Just another little tip when it comes to cornstarch or anything with cornstarch in it, don't put it into a hot plate or into a hot meal or into a hot dish. That heat will not do well with this stuff. It'll curd up and it'll make a mess and it'll ruin your whole dish, to be honest with you. So, from experience. We're just gonna add this guy in. Give it a stir. Depending on how much cornstarch you put, it'll thicken up almost immediately. If you didn't put a whole lot, it'll take a little bit. It'll take about 15 minutes to start to really break down. Okay? But and this guy is done. Yeah, don't aim it towards you, because they are going to be bubbling and popping. You don't want hot beans burned on your. You don't want hot beans on your face. So when it comes to our little tortillas, there's really only one way to warm them up. I have seen people put them in the microwave. We won't talk about those kind of people. You can put a comal or a flat plate on your stove. Those work well. We use a griddle that you can make pancakes on, so it's multi-purpose. You can pancakes, you can put pretty much anything on there. But for us, We probably make more tortillas than we do pancakes. So I'll show you that here in a second. The tortilla is pretty simple. You don't want it so hot that it's making them crispy, but you want it just hot enough. Just hot enough where you get them warm. Once you see them start to bubble up a little bit, you know they're ready for the turn. For the heat settings on this guy, I just have it at about 325 or so. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just about 325, nothing crazy. Like I said, it'd be medium high heat, and just enough where they get brown. You know, they get these nice little, where we at? Just where you get these nice little brown spots. All right. So as we wrap up, we've just finished our complete meal and kind of plated it somewhat. If you want to take a quick look here. Here we have our Carne Guisada. Nice semi-thick gravy. Our beans, rice, and tortillas. Where are you going? But like anything else, just a little bit of practice, a little bit of confidence, and again, teaching each other. You can trust me. And again, teaching each other help me to learn, and I'll help you guys to learn. And I hope that, you know, in the future you guys like these videos, or like this video. This is my first one, so it's going to be rusty, it's going to be choppy, it's going to be funky. So I'm okay with that. I hope you're okay with that. But we will learn, and we'll make these better. And my goal again is to help you guys to be able to stay at home, feed your families, and get those compliments of, wow, this tastes great, this is amazing. You know, how could, you know, I didn't know you could do this. Those are the kinds of things that, especially this day and age, where we can give somebody a compliment and receive compliments. It helps us go a long way. So again, enjoy your meal. Happy cooking. Remember, happy food is good food. All right. I want you to be happy. Have a good time. Comment below, please. By all means, give me all the comments you can. I appreciate any feedback, good or bad. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.